Alright, so in this video we are going to learn about the UITableView. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I feel that a lot of iOS courses don't really go deep enough on certain topics. So in this video we're actually going to go deeper into the UITableView. So I'm going to show you guys how you can actually retrieve or how you can display data inside a table view and how it works. So I want you guys to create a new Xcode project, and we're gonna start with the UITableView. So a UITableView is actually a way of displaying a list with options or a list with information to the user of the iOS application. Now how this works, I will make this one a little bit smaller. Go to our object library, UITableView is over here. We're going to drag it on here and let's constrain it. So we're going to constrain it from the save areas, and if I'm not mistaken, the save areas will display automatically. Then we constrain this 0, 0, 0 and 0. Okay, so what we did now, we created the table view. The table view is constrained to the save port or to the save areas of the viewport. So in this case the viewport is going to be an iPhone 11, and we actually want to display information in here. Here on the right side we actually have all the settings we have for the UITableView, and we actually need a prototype cell. So in here we're going to change this to 1, and we're going to select this cell, and as you can see you have like a lot of settings as well. And we're actually going to give it an identifier, and this identifier is needed to programmatically show information inside the table view. So we're going to call this Pokey Cell. Enter. Okay. So let's select the table view. Control drag table view to the view controller, and we're going to call this table view. Okay, so we actually want to display some information inside our table view, right? So we're going to create an array of Pokemon. So far, Pokemon is equal to, and the first one is going to be Pikachu. Second one is going to be Squirtle. Third one is going to be Bulbasaur. After that we're gonna need Charmander, and last but not least it's gonna be Mew. Okay, so we created a variable and we actually need to display these numbers or these items inside the table view, right? Okay, as you can see we get an error here. Don't worry about it, that is something that Xcode is blaming. Okay, so to conform the view controller to UITableView, we can do two things. Or we put a comma here, we're going to call UITableView delegate, comma, UITableView data source. This is actually a good way if you want to implement UITableView inside your view controller. But another way is actually to create an extension. So we're going to delete this again. And under here, outside the class, we're actually gonna extension of view controller, and this one is gonna be UITableView delegate, comma, UITableView data source. And the reason why we use an extension instead of adding it to the class is because we don't want to make our view controller class cluttered with a lot of code. And this way you can actually make your code look more readable. So that is why we actually use an extension instead of, one second, clean, run. Okay, as you can see we get an error here and it says protocol stops. So what this means, when we click on fix, these two functions are actually the minimal requirements of working with a UITableView. Okay, so number of rows in section. So the number of rows in section function actually decides how many rows, so how many items we need inside the table view. So in this case, we need Pokemon, so we can do return Pokemon.count. Perfect. And now, because we have extra Pokemons in here, or we have the Pokemons here, now we have 5 Pokemons, so we're actually gonna see 5 rows. Okay, so then we have the cell for row at index path, and the cell for row at index path is actually a function where we initialize the cell. So if you remember, we created an identifier of PokeCell, and with this function we can actually initialize it. So we can do let cell equals TableView dot dequeue reusable cell. Not mistaken. Table cannot find table view. Oh, wait a second. I already see it. It's because we need table view dot dequeue reusable cell with identifier, and the identifier is actually going to be PokeCell. So we're going to make it a string of PokeCell. Perfect. And after that, comma, for index path as index path. And after that, we can actually call the standard text label of a cell. So in this case, cell dot text label dot text is equal to Pokemon index path dot row. And then under here we can do return cell. And theoretically this should work. Perfect. So let's run this. So I'm gonna grab an iPhone 12 because I think this is the simulator I have started. Let's start the iPhone 12. Okay, as you can see, we don't have information yet, and the reason is we forgot to set the data source inside the view.load. So we can do TableView dot data source is equal to self, I think, and TableView dot delegate is equal to self as well. Let's run this again. Build filled UIKit again. So clean, run, and there it is. Pretty cool. So now we have Pikachu, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Mew. So what we did, we created a table view with a prototype cell. We called the PokeCell, that was the identifier. After that, we created an array of Pokemon. We created an extension of ViewController, so we could extend the capabilities of the ViewController itself with UITableView delegate and data source. And after that, we had our two functions, number of rows in section, and we had cell for row at index path. After that, we created a TableView data source and delegate inside the view.load, and now we actually have Pokemons here. So that was a small introduction into the UITableView. Later in the course, we're actually gonna learn how we can add and how we can delete data from the table view, and we're actually gonna learn how to work with custom cells. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you understand what UITableView is and how it works. In the next video, we're actually gonna work with UI collection view, and with UI collection view, that actually gives us a possibility of displaying pictures, for example. Right, like you see in your where you go to your photos application and you see like all those small images. That's also a collection view. So Let's go to the next video and let's see what a collection view is all about.